Well, good afternoon and thank you very much. We are coming to you from Kisumu County and we are joined by Kisumu County Deputy Governor Dr. Mathew Owili. Of course, he will be talking on various issues that affect Kisumu County, but more importantly, we're actually looking at how Kisumu County as a county is actually going to work in terms of ensuring that they are self-sustainable. We understand that about most of the products that are actually coming to Kisumu are imported from neighboring counties, and what we're looking at to understand how the county is actually putting in place policies, is actually rolling out infrastructure to ensure that indeed the next coming few years or months, Kisumu County is self-sustainable. Daktari, karibu sana.
Thank you.
The first question then we'll be asking is that we've seen on a number of occasions that, not a number of occasions, but what we know is that Kisumu actually imports a number of stuff that is actually used in this county. How do we move forward to ensure that indeed this county is self-sustainable?
Thank you for this very important subject, the issue of food security, especially in the county of Kisumu. As you know, the new governor, Professor Peter Anyanya, has a very robust manifesto. And one of the key areas that we'll want to, to work on is in the area of agriculture. We are saying that in the next few years, Kisumu County must be food sufficient. We have the right environment. If you look at a sub-county like Moroni, for example, okay, the weather pattern in Moroni is such that any crop, okay, can do well there. Okay, we also know that we have areas of our county that can support other crops that may not need a lot of rain, like cotton, for example, in areas of Lower Nyakach, in areas of Seme and some parts of Kisumu West, okay, where we can grow cotton and, have our farmers, sell that cotton as a cash crop and to be able to ensure that they have the other food items. So there's quite a bit of work that we already set on doing. And we believe in the next 5 years, it is possible for Kisumu County to have the first milk processing plant, okay, within the county. I know we used to have KCC before, but as you know, KCC went down. So the plant that we used to have within Kisumu City, okay, is basically not functional. Okay, but we can tell you that within the next 5 years, we will have our own milk processing plant.
Yes, dairy farming is actually a reality, as you've said, and of course, I'm also privy to the efforts that actually the county is putting in place to ensure that that sector actually flourishes. But apart from the dairy sector, when you go to crop production, and not in general, but actually let's just look at specifically at the horticulture, the production of vegetables, because those are the low-hanging fruits that we can actually cling on first before we go to the bigger picture. What are we doing to ensure that indeed we are able to satiate that demand? Because what I know for a fact is that even the Asian community in this town is actually crying out for supply of vegetables, and most of the vegetables are actually coming either from Kakamega, Nandi County, and what have you. And I had a discussion with one person from that community, and they were saying how we wish that there would be deliberate efforts to ensure that there's sufficient supply of vegetables to our community.
That's what you call horticulture, is it not? The vegetable production, fruit production, and by the way, these are fast perishable products. Okay, so we need to produce for local consumption, and we also need to produce for export. We are lucky as a county that we have an international airport. Unfortunately, we have not lifted, okay, any horticultural produce from Kisumu International Airport destined for any place out there. But now we have a plan. We need to do some level of agriculture, horticultural produce in the areas around the lake, okay, which we are so blessed to have, and in the areas around, there's so many rivers that we're also blessed to have within Kisumu County that actually empty into Lake Victoria. Now, as you know, there are people who probably are doing this, but the level of production does not allow for export. Now, I know you've not asked me this, but immediately the governor came into office, one of the think tanks that he was meant to do was to try and rescue the sugar industry. Okay, which, as you know, is a very big sector okay, especially in the county of Kisumu, and of course the counties in the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Now, when we were coming into office, most of the factories were not crushing cane, okay? And as we speak today, okay, Chemelil Sugar Company is crushing. Of course, because of a very close working relationship between the governor and the other governors with whom we share the factory. You know, Nandi County, they have farmers who take their cane to Chemelil. Kericho County, same. Kisumu County, the same, okay? And so there's a close working relationship between the governors and the counties that I've mentioned, but also the counties that form the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Okay, that will also include Bungoma, Kakamega, with all the big sugar factories there. That includes Homa Bay, with all the sugar factories there. Migori, with all the sugar factories there. Busia, with all the factories there. We have had a series of meetings, okay, in the block. But the chunk of time, a big chunk of the time that we've spent talking about agriculture in the block has been devoted to agriculture, because we know that's where it starts. Okay, so there's quite a bit of recommendations that we have put out to the national government. Okay, first of all, we have requested them for help, just like they have done in other sectors in other regions, like coffee. They have always given money to be able to write off debts and stuff like that. Now, we asked them also to give us some money to write off some debts. They have given Chemelil, for example, 300 million to write off some debts and to pay farmers there. Not write off some debts, but they've given us some money to pay off the debts for the farmers, okay? And so many other things, as you know, that Chemelil is co-owned, okay, by the national government. But that notwithstanding, there's so much that we need to do as a county, and as the county's local regional economic bloc. One of the things that we are proposing is the reintroduction of zoning, so that you don't have a factory or a sugar factory facility without any nucleus farm, okay, getting sugarcane from all over, okay, poaching, as you say, okay, thereby rendering the resident factory without what? Without sugar.
But Daktari, just to cut you short, willing buyer, willing seller. Chemelil, with all its capacity to actually crush cane, and Mumia's sugar, and Kibos, or whichever company, if as a farmer I have to wait for 18 or 2 or 3 years before a company can actually come to my farm to harvest cane, yet there's a company that is willing to actually harvest my cane as soon as it is ready, how then are you going to stop me from actually supplying that cane to a person who is willing to actually...
You are asking. Okay, but we are not just talking about zoning alone. Okay, we know there will be the issue of zoning to ensure that all the factories have their cane at least. Not just zoning, we also need to increase the acreage, nuclear farm acreage. Okay, because we have quite a bit of land. Say for example, in Moroni, Chemelil, all these places, we have quite a bit of land that the factories can actually use to increase the. But what I'm trying to say is that as we look into zoning, as we look into payment of farmers, we also need to look at the management of the factories. Okay, that's the other thing that we must look into, because the factories must be managed efficiently. There's no need of a farmer waiting for so long before their cane can be cut.
And I would wish to know, one of the issues that has been discussed at length is the issue of sustainability. Because when you look at Ahero Irrigation Scheme, sometimes back, yes, there was talk of ensuring that when they're not planting rice, then they can actually plant other stuff. They can plant vegetables, they can plant fruits, and they can plant watermelons and what have you. And at some point, there was enough supply of vegetables and fruits from Ahero coming to Kisumu that even those people who are actually supplying from outside the town had actually reduced drastically. What changed? What happened that after a short period, then people discard whatever they're doing and either leave the land fallow or turn to other things?
Thank you. The rice growing sector is not a sector that we are just about to discard. In fact, in any case, I'm just saying, we are willing and are already planning to invest more in that sector. We are actually doing some tractors. There are tractors that basically the county government were meant to buy with together with the farmer societies, okay, within the rice growing area. Okay, and the tractors are there. They're actually more than 20. So the county government is investing together okay, with the cooperative societies, okay, or the circles there in the rice growing areas. Now, having the tractors is a one big thing, because that means that they can be able to plow their farms on time, okay. But that notwithstanding, we want to ask and work very closely with the agriculture department, okay, so that everything else that needs to be done for us to be able to see you know, the good result that we are expecting, okay, from the rice industry is basically achieved, okay. We want to grow our rice in good time. We want to grow it you know, efficiently. In terms of the cost of production, need to be as low as possible, okay, but with the proper input, with the proper advice and everything. Once the rice is there, like what has been done elsewhere, we also need to start seeing Ahero rice, okay, within the supermarkets. And very soon, once that is done, we will be asking our stockists to consider stocking homegrown rice, and not just rice, other products as well, because that's the only way to be able to uplift the standards of living of those who are doing farming around here. Now, the other thing that is also going to be big is the issue of the Lake Region Economic Block. Now, in this block, we are talking about a market of not less than 14 million people. So if, for example, you take advantage of what the market has to offer, okay, then we are saying whatever it is that you grow, the market will be there. When this market, of course, the other things will follow. The returns can be reinvested to be able to make your work in the farm much better. But at the end of the day, we want each and every household, if this information can get to them, that we do not want any land lying fallow. Once the village councils are in force, okay, anybody who has a farm that they need to, you know, to work on, okay, must get the help, all the necessary help, be it from the county government, be it from the NGOs, because we also have very good NGOs working within Kisumu County, like the 1 Acre Fund, okay? 1 Acre Fund has done quite a tremendous good job. Areas where people are having, you know, issues, okay? You go, you do your planting, you do your harvesting, within 2-3 months you're out of the crop, okay? Now we have people having a crop, taking them all the way to the next harvest cycle, okay? So we're talking about the county government doing their part, but we also have some very good NGOs I've mentioned, like the 1 Acre Fund, and any other organization that will come over, okay? And yeah.
Probably as we conclude, what has been the missing link? Is it politics? Is it human resource? Is it just our attitude? What has been lacking to the extent that despite the immense potential that this region has been touted, this Kisumu County has actually been touted as the capital of the Great Lakes region, and of course, immense potential, immense market in terms of what surrounds us and the hinterland, but we continue to remain behind. What exactly has been the linking piece?
You know, we cannot complete talking about this issue before we talk about fish. Yes. Now that we're in Kisumu, yes, and Kisumu is blessed to be next to the lake. And one of the areas in terms of farming where we think we can get a very big leap almost immediately is to do with how we exploit and use the lake, okay, and the products that we get from it, and one of them being a fish. Now, we know that our people have been fishing from time immemorial, and a lot has been said about how they have not benefited from their sweat every single day when they go to the lake and come back. And that has been to do with what they call the middlemen. They bring the fish and somebody takes the fish away. The fish is said to be cheaper. Kisumu fish is cheaper in Nairobi, probably here, because the fish doesn't stay here. So we need to enable our fishermen. First of all, our fishing it needs to be enhanced in a way that we are using modern ways of fishing that does not also, you know, harm or for example interfere with the breeding pattern of the fish that we have. But we can also have some other ways of ensuring that we have enough fish for the local market and for export, like now the new idea of fish caging or cage farming in the lake. But again, as I told you, it needs to be planned. You cannot just go everybody putting a cage wherever. Yeah. So very soon we're going to expect from the department a policy on how that will be done. Probably fish farming alone, if done in a proper manner, may be the thing for Kisumu County. That may be the thing to change the lives of the people of Kisumu County. So we are going to explore and do what is good for the county and what can change the lives of our people so that we can have more jobs created, we can have a more food secure county. Because if you have a food secure county, you have a county with more jobs, then of course everything else will come into play. Yeah.
Well, of course, Daktari, giving us a comprehensive outlook of what as a county they intend to do in terms of ensuring that the county becomes self-sustainable, and of course spelling out a number of issues they want to do specifically in agriculture. And I can tell you, of course, we'll be talking to him again or any other county officials matters tourism, because we also understand that this region is blessed with tourism spots, and of course the potential in tourism is immense, especially in Lake Victoria, and yet that potential is yet to be exploited. So those are some of the issues that we'll be discussing. I've been talking to the Kisumu County Deputy Governor Mathew Owili, and of course we'll find time again to talk to either another county official or him in the coming days, so that then we understand a number of issues that Kisumu County government is doing to ensure that this county becomes self-sustainable, and more importantly, they create jobs and ensure that people who are residing in this region are living as comfortable as they would want to be. My name is Achola Simon, and I take you back to Broadcasting House.